Hello and welcome to Questions in Quarantine, where I am interviewing different people from different professions on their experience of lockdown here in the UK. Each week, I'll be challenging my guests to answer the 2 minutes in lockdown interview challenge, where they need to answer 4 questions in just 2 minutes. This week, I've got Kirsty. Hi, Kirsty.
Hi, Sharon.
So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So my name's Kirsty and I am the founder and owner of Kocoon, which is a holistic coaching business. So I work with people holistically to make changes in their life. I also teach meditation and mindfulness. And my background is working with children and families with complex needs. So this has brought everything together, my passion for working with people and helping them to make positive changes.
Fantastic, that sounds amazing. So I can't wait to find out a little bit more about that in a second, but we've got to get our challenge out of the way first. So are you up for the challenge, Kirsty?
I am.
Brilliant, okay. Well, let's get our screen up and we will start the interview going. So let's get started then. Right, first question then. So Kirsty, what have you been doing personally to keep yourself sane and manage your well-being during this time in lockdown?
So I've been doing a number of things really. So the first thing I've really tried, well, haven't tried, I have been noticing all of the small things that I'm grateful for that make my day better. So I love my baths. I think we take for granted stuff like we have water. So noticing things like that, meditating. I love going for my daily walk and my exercise. And also just listening to my body. And if I feel like I want to watch telly one day, then I've been doing that and not feeling guilty, which I have before.
Fantastic, that sounds brilliant. So tell us what you've learned about yourself. I think it's interesting time. So what one thing have you learned about yourself during this time?
So I would say I'm fairly impatient because I like getting things done. I always have lists and things I want to achieve, and lockdown has put some of that on hold, but actually it's fine because I will get things done and I'm having a chance to do things that I haven't had time to do before. So I realised that actually I can be patient.
Well, that's great news, isn't it? So based on your professional experience as a holistic coach and all of the things that you do, could you share a piece of advice or a tip for sort of anybody out there that's sort of watching now?
Yeah, I would say to people, really recognise how resilient and strong you are. When I've spoken with clients over the lockdown period, initially they were really anxious, feeling they weren't going to cope, their children wouldn't be able to cope. But speaking to them this week, everyone is actually managing and has found ways to cope, which I think is great. We're so much more resilient than we give ourselves credit for sometimes.
That's so true. Finally, what's the one thing you're going to miss and what's the first thing you're going to do when this all ends?
The one thing that I will miss...
We've started, so we'll finish.
Okay.
Another question time.
Okay. The one thing I will miss, I think, is just actually the time and the sort of lack of pressure. And the first thing I will do, there'll be a few things, probably get my nails done, go for a walk along the canal and get back to business.
Ah, fantastic. Do you know what? I think those nail shops and hairdressing shops and gyms actually are going to be very busy.
Oh yes, go to the sauna, something else I've missed.
Oh, it's fantastic. Well done for that. That's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you for indulging me in the interview challenge. So let's find out a little bit more about you, because I'm really interested in the whole concept of holistic coaching. So tell me a little bit about what that means for sort of coaching, and also how you got into being a coach and how you got Kocoon Coaching launched.
So I initially, when I went on a 2-day coaching course and was like, wow, this is what I want to do. And I, to be honest, didn't know that much about coaching. But I'm also a bit of a hippie, and I thought actually this can bring together my love of meditation and mindfulness, but also working with people to make positive changes. So in terms of holistic coaching, I work with people. Now they might come with one topic that they want to work on, but we look at everything else as well, because sometimes different parts of our life impact on other areas and we're not always conscious of that. And in my coaching, I offer meditation and mindfulness to help get our brains into eating mode, where we're more able to make changes and almost rewire our brains. So it's really exciting. I've also done some group work where we've meditated and then done some group coaching. And feedback generally is, wow, I've kind of realised stuff that I hadn't realised. And where you just take time to slow down, actually, sometimes we can evaluate things more and make more informed choices about what we want.
Mm-hmm. One of the things I heard you mention whilst we were talking earlier is about listening to your body. So what did you mean by that? What does that mean, listen to your body?
So in terms of with meditation, I do a lot of work around. Sorry, Sharon.
That's right.
Sorry, my phone just froze. In meditation, I do a lot of work around body scanning, really recognising how our bodies physically feel, but also the impact that has on us emotionally. So sometimes people have lots of pains, digestive problems, but actually that can be linked to stress and not really paying attention to your body and what it's telling you. So when I am doing meditation and coaching, I will get people to really notice how they physically feel, how does that impact on how they're emotionally feeling, and then what's the impact on their wider life. And also I think with meditation and with coaching, you learn to trust yourself a lot more. And if something doesn't feel right, it's easier to say, actually, I'm not going to do that. Or if you feel, I need to just rest today, you do that, knowing that it will benefit you long term.
That's incredible. I mean, we often sort of get sort of like a feeling or a thought, and we sort of tell ourselves, well, we run our stories, don't we, our own programming, if you like, saying,
yeah.
well, you know, don't be silly, or we brush it off, or we push those sort of feelings to one side. So what you're saying is to slow down and really listen, and that way actually we can be more resilient and physically fitter. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, and I think, so I know we both work with protective behaviours, but that thing of really trusting your gut and trusting how you feel, whether that be a great feeling or an uncomfortable feeling, notice it in your body and trust yourself and listen to what your body's telling you.
So important, particularly in this time right now. I think, you know, that's really important, isn't it? So sort of based on that, you know, the fact that, you know, we've got to sort of trust our gut and listen to ourselves and slow down a little bit, and we're being sort of forced to sort of to do that. What would be your sort of tips for success for anybody out there that's sort of listening, might be struggling a little bit and sort of thinking, well, you know, well, that sounds great, but it's a bit too sort of Mother Earth for me, and or this holistic stuff isn't for me. What would you say to them to support them?
Yeah, so I love all the hippie stuff, but I would never force it on people. So I think just try things out, and if there's something you really think that is not for me, don't do it. But you never know, sometimes just breathing, going for a walk, really simple stuff can just help us come back to ourselves and to refocus. Breathing, we do it all day, every day. Sometimes if you just pay a bit more attention to that in itself will help you to feel calmer. It will physically help your body. And I think when you're in a good state physically and mentally, you're more likely to succeed and also to be more resilient and be able to take the tough times and roll with them and learn from them.
Yeah, no, absolutely, for sure. That's really important, isn't it? So, you sort of talk about, we'll talk about sort of success, and, you know, obviously, you know, you've built your business from sort of scratch, and that takes sort of a lot of hard work and sort of dedication. And it, you know, for me, it always inspires me to hear people's stories about how they got into their businesses, you know, because it's not something that just sort of happens overnight. Tell me who or what inspires you and why.
I mean, there's a lot of people that inspire me. So I have a really great family, which I'm very lucky. And I've got lots of strong women, so that boosts me up and encourages me. I would probably actually say my nan is somebody that inspires me. She was from a very poor part of Ireland, and had to emigrate to England, and they had nothing, and, you know, worked really hard so that I have the life that I have now. So I think just that ethic of working really hard and being grateful for what you've got, and having sort of family values almost, has inspired me. My mum and dad are very much like that. And I'm very close with my aunties as well. And so I wouldn't say there's one person, there's lots of people that inspire me. But yeah, I think people that work hard, keep going, and just being grateful, and like, actually, you know, somebody else has it worse. I think that's a good, it's not always easy, but it's a good attitude to have, because then you can move on with things as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, it's really important. So, you know, we've spoken quite a lot about all the things that are going on, and sort of listening to our bodies and sort of slowing down. What would your perception of success mean in all of that? And what one thing that's good do you think will come out of all of this that's going on at the moment?
I think families will gain a lot from this, I hope, mostly. When I've spoken with clients, like I said earlier, they've realised actually they are a lot more resilient than they realised. I've had some lovely stuff, people saying, you know what, it's so nice to sit and have dinner together. We've been spending time together. My children are getting on, which they kind of didn't expect, being in a household together. So I think people will realise they're more resilient, and I hope that people really appreciate the NHS a lot more as well. I know, for example, my nan used to constantly book doctor's appointments, and I think you don't really need them. And I think what's gone on hopefully will help people to really appreciate the NHS, and actually all of the emergency services, key workers that do so much, and don't always get the recognition for that.
Yeah, for sure. I think, you know, that would be, I really hope, a positive to come out with, that we really value those key workers that have been really keeping the whole of the country going as a result of what's been happening. It's been brilliant. Oh, thank you so much for that. It's been really interesting finding out a little bit more about holistic coaching, because it's something that's really new to me. So thank you for sharing. How do people find out about you, Kirsty? Have you got a website? Have you got social media? How do they find out about who you are and what you do, and maybe sign up for some sessions with you?
Yeah, so Kocoon is spelt with a K, so it's Kocoon, and we're on Instagram, kocoon.coaching, on Facebook, kocoon.holistic, and my new website will be launching within the next few weeks, which will be www.kocoon.org.uk.
Fantastic. Well, definitely, anyone who's watching this, check out what Kirsty's doing, because it sounds amazing. I think we can all do a little bit of nice breathing and listening to ourselves, and a bit of holistic healing, I think, would be really important too. Well, thank you so much for spending some time and sharing with us your tips and your ideas, and what you're doing with Kocoon Coaching. It absolutely sounds really, really inspiring. But thanks so much, and I hope to catch up with you soon. I hope you enjoyed coming to my virtual coffee shop, Kirsty.
I loved it. It's good to see you.
Thanks very much, and I hope to see you in a proper coffee shop at some stage, maybe in the future.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, take care then. Thanks very much.
Bye.